My first pick gonna be Damian Lillard.
We're following breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ from the NBA. The Trailblazers have traded Damian Lillard.
Ooh, that's nasty.
It's going to be hard to stop Giannis, man.
No, for sure.
It's
impossible now.
You got someone.
Y'all need to look into the Bucks for tampering. Y'all do. I'm just going to put that out there.
The Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics are now tit for tat as to who's the favorite in the Eastern Conference to go to the NBA Finals. There's no way around it.
Back from vacation, and right on cue is NBA insanity. This is exactly why I love the NBA. Right when you think you have an idea of maybe how the season's kind of going to look like, Dame ends up alongside Giannis with the Bucks core still intact. Not only that, but the Celtics also make a move for Drew Holiday. And just like that, the Eastern Conference conversation is back to Celtics versus Bucks, and pretty much everyone else kind of in the mix. But these are just my quick thoughts on the Milwaukee Bucks season outlook. And I'm not here to talk about the morality of Dame requesting a trade. Is it right for the league? Is it wrong for the league? I don't really care about that. I think that's a pointless conversation. I don't think anyone's ever going to agree to those things. So I'm just going to stick to the basketball side of the things. So I watch a ton of Milwaukee Bucks basketball, and I'm a huge Giannis fan. I've been for a long time, probably since he's been drafted. I did not think he was going to be this amazing. I did think he would be great once he kind of filled out. Not at this level though. But my concern with the Bucks has always been kind of the same one. Pre-title run, during the title run, even after the title run, leading up until this point. And that was the fact that the team basically really needed Giannis to do everything. And the team was either hot or cold from three. And that would usually be the deciding factor on winning or losing a game. Because obviously Giannis is going to win you a lot of games, just his greatness alone. But a lot of times their ugly losses came from just the guys not shooting well. Not providing that spacing for Giannis at times. You know, Pat Connaughton wasn't great this year, last season from three. You know, Grayson Allen, really streaky. These are guys that can get hot at times, but in those nights where they were not shooting well, it was rough for the Bucks. That being said, I love the Dame trade. Yes, you lose Drew Holiday, who's obviously two-way player. They don't win the title without Drew Holiday. That's a fact. I think we can all agree to that. But I'm seeing a lot of people, obviously the first problem with the Dame trade that people are talking about is the fact that, yes, the defensive side of the ball, right? Like that could take a hit, I guess. Like that's really what people are debating essentially, is how the defense is going to look like with Dame in Drew's position. Something I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about is the fact that now that Giannis has Dame, Giannis can kind of focus more on the defensive side of things. He's already a really good defender, but I feel like when you ask him to do so much, it can also take away from what I feel like he could be best at, which is just, you know, helping teammates recover, cleaning the glass, just blocking shots, picking up difficult matchups, you know, just really honing in on the defensive side, right? And Giannis could also be a lot more focused on being the best screen setter, the best roller to the basket, a lob threat, right? Just kind of focus more on those things rather than putting the ball in his hands and hoping he just gets you offense. I think that obviously they make both of their lives easier, but also the rest of the teams, which is a big thing that's going to make this Milwaukee Bucks trade work out. And obviously point number one that everyone makes is Giannis has a massive gravity, right? He just demands so much attention from opposing defenses. And Dame also has a really big gravity because of his ability to shoot, and he can also get to the rim. So we all know you got two of those guys. How are they going to defend the Spain actions from the Milwaukee Bucks? How are they going to defend with so much spacing? You've got Brook Lopez pulling out big guys. That gives Dame free reign to attack the basket. Obviously, Giannis, like I talked about, demands a ton of attention. And what teams were doing before this Dame trade against the Bucks was really honing in on Giannis and pretty much daring the rest of the guys to shoot. Guys like a Grayson Allen, a Pat Connaughton, a Wes Matthews, some streaky shooters, right? And I think that obviously Grayson Allen's no longer on the team, but I do think that now I don't think that's going to be really an option for teams. If you wall off on Giannis or overhelp when he's down low or he's rolling, if he finds himself in that short roll or, just any kind of two-man action with Dame, that's going to be really hard to figure out for opposing defenses. Do you let Dame get some easier looks? Because gone are the days of trapping Dame and double teaming, triple teaming, sending you're still going to have to send point of attack defenders on him, but this is going to be a massive headache for opposing teams. Chris Middleton can now really solidify himself as the third option. He was injured last year, right? So he was definitely dealing with, recovery issues. He was a little inconsistent because of it. I was already concerned about his health, even going into this year. But now with Dame taking a massive portion of that offense and Giannis obviously going to be there as well, it's really going to give a little less usage into those Chris Middleton minutes, right? You're not going to need so much of Middleton like they used to. And I think that's going to really help Chris Middleton, which I don't think a lot of people are really talking about that much. But I think that's really important to talk about. And honestly, it just comes down to the simple argument of I trust Dame more than I trust Drew Holiday taking shots and taking a big load of the offense. And if we disagree on that, then I don't know what else to tell you, honestly. I think we can all agree Dame's just a better offensive player. And him being surrounded by all this shooting and size and versatility and honestly solid defense around him, they can definitely scheme to hide Dame a little bit. And Dame can kind of hold his own, right? I'm not going to say he's a great defender, but I do think if you put him around these kind of guys, he's definitely going to look better. I think a guy that also kind of goes under the radar, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, is Malik Beasley on this team, right? Streaky shooter, but when he's hot, he causes a lot of problems as well. So, I really feel like that second slot, right? Like the 2-guard slot, that position's kind of up for grabs, right? Like I think we can all assume the locks on this team would be, Middleton, Giannis, Brook Lopez, and Dame, right? Like those are the 4 that are going to be locked in. And that second slot, who knows who really takes that over? I'm interested to see what happens with that. Me personally, I really like MarJon Beauchamp. He might be a little too young to assume the starting position, but if he shows he can actually do the things that I believe he can do, which is obviously 3-and-D, get to the rim, play his role. I really liked him with the G League Ignite. I was disappointed that he didn't play that much last season. But hopefully Adrian Griffin does a little more with MarJon Beauchamp. I'm a fan of him. I think he can really help this team. Young legs, athletic, can run. I really like what he can bring, and hopefully he gets a fair shot. But I do have 2 concerns with this team. And one is obviously the health factor, right? Like Dame's had some injuries. Would like to see, obviously, hopefully he stays healthy throughout the season. Chris Middleton, right? And I talked about that. If he has less usage, that's going to help, obviously, keep him fresh for the playoffs. Obviously, Brook Lopez is getting up there in age, but he's been pretty reliable on that front. And just getting to the playoffs, right, with some home court advantage. And that's probably my second biggest concern. But my main one is the new coach, right? Adrian Griffin Sr., ex-NBA player. He was an assistant with the Raptors on that championship team. He was actually I read somewhere that he was being considered for the new head coaching job for the Raptors. Obviously, that didn't end up happening. And here he is for the Milwaukee Bucks. And I got to say, me personally, when you have a team like this that's just ready to win now, they've got a lot of experience, I would have rather gone a more experienced head coach route. Not sure how this is going to look. I watched their media day presser, and he looked a little shaky. He looked a little nervous. Maybe I'm looking a little too into it. He was fumbling his words a little bit. He definitely looked nervous at media day for the Bucks, and I'll put the link in the description for you guys to check it out. I don't know. He looked nervous for sure. And I guess obviously first-time head coach, you get Damian Lillard on your team, and all of a sudden it's the talk of the town. So That could be a factor. Maybe I'm thinking too much into that, but that is a concern of mine. And there's no doubt that every game the Bucks lose, or if they don't even make the finals, I think that's going to be the very popular topic, is the inexperienced coaching situation. In terms of, first-time head coach. Like, yeah, he's been an assistant for a bit, but being a head coach is completely different. And, he could see the Joe Mazzulla treatment, which we saw last season. We'll see how that looks. Bottom line is, I think this is an excellent trade. I think that both of these guys, Giannis and Dame, are going to make each other's lives much easier. They're going to make the opposing defense's lives much harder. And I think the rest of the team is going to benefit tremendously from not having to do so much on offense and a little less responsibility and focusing on a little more of the little things, right? I really like this trade. I'm excited to see what happens with the Bucks. I fully expect them to at least get to the conference finals. I'm going to have an over-under win totals pod, which is using FanDuel, their over-under odds. I'm going to have a guest on over the weekend, and I'm going to put out that video as soon as possible. There will be more breakdown videos as the season starts. I'm going to try to get some out, but that's going to do it for this one. This is the All Things Basketball podcast. I'll catch you guys on the next one.